I've been bad at networking most of my life, but if I can figure it out, so can you. I want to talk a little bit about what I used to think networking was and why it held me back, why it made it hard for me to connect with new people and grow my network. A little bit of a personal story here. I grew up in a small town in southern Colorado. It had one high school, one school district, and my parents were either teachers or involved in the community in that school district. Lots of people knew who I was. I had an older sister who had already gone through high school, was fairly successful in school, in sports. Everybody knew who she was. By default, everybody knew who I was. I never really had to go meet new people. I never moved to a new city as a kid and had to start over as the new kid. I never had to get comfortable reaching out to strangers, talking to people. I just knew people. Because of that, I think I never really learned how you meet new people. I just thought they were people that you lived near, went to school with, or who were in your community. That's how you knew people. And that's true. That is how most of us know the people we know. When I went to college at a school in Texas, and that school was bigger in terms of people than my entire county that I grew up in. There were more people on campus than were in the entire county where I was from in Colorado. That was sort of an eye-opener for me. First of all, nobody there knew me. I went to a school where nobody knew who I was. I also, as I said, it was really big, but it didn't feel huge. There were opportunities for me to meet people in the dorms and in classes, and college is kind of like that. That's a good place for you to meet people because everybody's in the same situation. You're all going through the same things. Not a lot of challenges there meeting new people. But again, I didn't really learn how to network or connect with people because I was meeting them for other reasons. I remember in college, there was a guy in one of my classes. On the first day, he walked around to every person in the class and introduced himself and shook their hand and asked them what their name was. And I watched this guy do this, and I think I asked him, I said, do you do this in every class? And he said, yeah, I try to meet at least 3 new people a day. That was not odd to me. I actually admired that guy. I thought, oh my God, I wish I could do that. But I've always been really shy. I've always been really introverted. That approach doesn't really work for me. And I thought that was what networking was. I thought that's how you connected with new people. Because I was hesitant to do that, I just thought I was bad at networking. Because my mind was wrong. I was thinking that's what networking was. I didn't realize there was more to it than that. Got through college, got a job off of campus recruiting, and started my career. And went through my career. And in retrospect, I did get many opportunities through networking. I just didn't realize it at the time. I knew people who connected me with jobs. I moved forward in my career, but I still was not actively out there networking, growing my network. Again, I thought it was going to a big room full of people, shaking hands, meeting strangers. That was networking. And like I said, that I think really held me back. It kept me from growing my network. It kept me from learning how to connect with people. I didn't have to learn how to network until I was 38 years old, and I lost my job the first time. My position was eliminated. I had worked at the same place for 9 years. I all of a sudden had to go find a job and find a job pretty quickly. I didn't want to wait around and sit around and not be making a paycheck. That forced me to rethink networking, what I believe in networking, how I approach networking. That forced me to think differently. You would think I said to myself, Greg, you need to learn how to network. You need to go to these events. You need to meet strangers. Get over yourself. whatever it is about that, just walking up to people and talking to them cold that makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what that is, and I can work on that. I still didn't want to do it. And I also didn't think it was very effective. I started to question whether going to these events was a good use of time, whether going to either an industry event or a conference or someplace that's a meetup or something to meet new people and network. I started questioning whether that was really a good use of my time. What I found through that job search was a different way to network. It's become the foundation of everything I do in terms of teaching introverts to be better networkers. It's a pretty simple approach. Other people have used it and have told me it works for them. It's not the only approach. There's a lot of ways to network. You have to do what works for you. My approach works for me. It's worked for other people. I think it will work for more people. What I'm curious about, or why I do these videos, why I have a newsletter, why I have a book, why I post on LinkedIn, what's working and not working for other people. Because I think that there's a lot of people who grew up like I did, not knowing how to network, not understanding what it is, and have a really different version, or have sort of the standard mentality about it, that it's, you got to have an elevator pitch and you got to go in and make small talk, and that you got to collect business cards and you got to follow up, and that's how you grow your network. That's what you would read a lot of if you got online and just searched how to network. Again, that's one way to approach it. I don't think that works for me. I don't think that works for a lot of people. I think there's other ways. Again, my way is one way. What I'm interested in, or what I'm curious about, or what I would love to hear is, for anybody who's struggling to network, have you reached out to your existing network? Who's your existing network? It's people you worked with in the past who have maybe gone to other companies, people you have known through your community, people who are friends of yours that you've kept up with. Any of those people that you maybe haven't talked to in a long time, have you reached out to all those people? It's easy to say, oh, I met a new person and now I'm networking, but have you really started with all the people you already know? Have you gone through your LinkedIn connections, all your first degree connections, to see who you could reach out to with a message to catch up? Have you done all those things? Quite often I'll get emails from some of my readers that will say, I don't know where to start, or I've started, but I'm not getting responses. I'm not getting follow-up. It seems like I'm not getting traction. I would go back and tell those people, have you gone through all the people you already know? That's important because, number one, that gives you practice at this. It helps you learn how to get consistent. It helps you learn how to reach out to people. It helps you start to have conversations in a very low risk environment, a way in which you're more likely to have people reconnect with you and have those conversations. But it's not just about practice. A lot of those people that you reach out to, if you start talking to them and having a conversation, will think of somebody they can introduce you to. Once they introduce you, that takes also a lot of the pressure off. It makes it another low risk connection that you can make to start having conversations and meeting new people. That way you're never really talking to a stranger. You're starting with people you know who are going to introduce you to somebody else. This takes time. And this is where I think people get frustrated. They feel like they need to connect with people quickly, and often it's because they're in a situation where they haven't been networking for a while. They haven't kept up on it. They now need to get a new job, either because they've lost their job or because they're ready to lose their job, or they just don't like their boss. They need to move on. They want to find a job quickly. Then they feel like they need to network, and it's hard to do this fast. You can do it more quickly by reaching out to more people and having more conversations and trying to pick up the pace. At the same time, you have to understand it's going to take a little bit of time, which is why I always tell people to start before you need it and start soon. Sometimes you can't do anything about that. If you can't do anything about that, don't give up. There's still an opportunity to connect with people. This is what I learned when I was searching for a job. I started reaching out to the people I knew who I worked for, and most of them didn't even work for the same company. I had just left. They worked somewhere else, but I had worked with them over the years. I reached out to them. I had conversations. We talked about what I was looking for, what they were looking for. We tried to help each other. And that led to different connections that led to a new job. It took me 3 months to get to that new job. Is that fast or slow? People would tell me differently. If you've been looking for 6 months, you would say that's fast. If you just got laid off, you'd say that's pretty slow. You'd want to get a job faster than that. I can't tell you how long it's going to take you. It depends on how many people you connect with, how quickly you can have conversations, how much follow-up there is. But there are things you can do to make this easier. And like I said, I always tell people to follow 5 steps. Number 1, start with who you know. That's what we just talked about. You can start by connecting with. Number 2, connect with them online. You can find them and start the conversation online, but you have to have in-person conversations, whether it's on the phone or by Zoom call or actually face-to-face in person. You've got to get to conversations like that in order to build these relationships so that you'll find these opportunities. Once you get together in person, ask questions, listen and give, listen to the other person's response, see what they're talking about, see what they're working on, see what they're struggling with. How can you help them? Give them help, give them a way to overcome whatever struggles they're working on. Then at some point, once you've helped them out, they're going to say, how can I help you? And you want to be easy to help. Always be easy to help. Don't give them your resume and say, here, can you give this to somebody? Be very targeted and specific in who you want to meet and make it easy for them to connect you with that person or that type of person. And once they connect you, you're going to start the process over again. You're going to have to make these steps a habit. That's the last step, is to repeat all of these things. Once you get introduced, it's now have an in-person conversation and listen and give, be easy to help, repeat. This is something you have to do consistently, every day, a little bit, if possible. That will help you get momentum. And once you get the momentum, it will help you start to see some results. I understand it can be extremely frustrating to network. I have had my own networking frustrations throughout my life. I finally found a way that works for me. I think it will work for you. What I would love to hear is anybody who's struggling with this, who is trying this and it's not working, please leave your struggles, leave for questions, leave whatever it is in the comments of this video. Send me an email, leave me a comment on my newsletter, follow me on LinkedIn, send me a message, leave me a comment on one of my posts. I'm here for any questions that you have. If you're struggling, I'm happy to help you figure it out. Hopefully that helps you understand that I'm not perfect at this, and I never was. I struggled with this, and I understand a lot of people struggle with it too. If I can figure it out, I think most of you can figure it out too, and you can become a better networker. So try these steps. Let me know if it's not working out. Would love to hear your feedback. And as always, follow this channel, subscribe to the newsletter, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm here. I'm available to help you. Try it out. Go out this week. See if you can meet some interesting new people, and make sure to always be connecting.